There are 34 U.S. Senate seats up for grabs in November, with a few considered battleground elections, which could determine control of the Senate.
One of those is right here in Ohio, where polling suggests that race is up for grabs. I spoke with a political expert who breaks down why this is a razor-thin margin and what could make the winning difference, right here on your local election headquarters.
I think if you just take away the personalities, take away sort of all the variables, we would expect this race to be a pretty comfortable win for a Republican nominee.
Instead, polls suggest Ohio's U.S. Senate race is a dead heat, just 0.8% separating J.D. Vance and Tim Ryan in the most recent Emerson College The Hill poll, making this statistically a dead heat. Dr. Mark Caleb Smith, the director of the Center for Political Studies at Cedarville University, says some Republicans are not buying J.D. Vance just yet.
And if you look at his polling numbers versus Mike DeWine's polling numbers, there's a suggestion there that there's a big chunk of people willing to vote for DeWine who are a little bit hesitant about J.D. Vance.
Dr. Smith attributes that hesitancy to Vance's political inexperience and complicated image, and credits Ryan for taking advantage of that.
He's connecting Vance to January 6th. He's connecting Vance to people who are denying the election results from 2020. He's connecting him to people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others. And so I think that's a pretty effective argument. Even though Ohio is certainly trending red, Ohio has a reputation for being a pretty moderate, sober state.
Dr. Smith says there is still some residue of what happened on January 6, 2021, and Vance's embrace of that complicates his relationship with at least some Republicans. This election could come down to the 250,000 Republican voters who sided with Matt Dolan in the primary, a conservative segment who are not election denialists and, according to Dr. Smith, are looking for a candidate who is comfortable accepting the 2020 election results.
Ideologically, Ryan's pretty far from them. But in terms of stability, that may be the kind of message that's going to resonate.
Dr. Smith says Vance, however, is scoring points with the economy, connecting Ryan to record inflation and highlighting his voting record in lockstep with Nancy Pelosi.
I think so, for sure. Anytime that the Republicans can connect a Democratic politician and Nancy Pelosi throughout most of the country, it's probably successful.
With little time before Election Day and little space separating the two candidates, what could decide this race, and with it, possibly control of the Senate?
I think the economy is kind of set right now, and that's going to affect the last month of this campaign. And so I think bad news for the Democrats doesn't mean it's impossible for something to happen. But right now, the economy is driving the bus.
One thing is nearly unanimous across party lines: voter exhaustion. Dr. Smith says the races are already long, and all the strife and dramatic storylines over the last 6 to 8 years have only amplified the general exhaustion. And coming up at 5:32, News reporter Allison Gens takes a deeper look at how the Miami Valley will play a crucial role in the upcoming election.
And to get all of the latest up-to-date information about the midterm elections, you can always go to WDTN.com, click on your local election headquarters under the News tab. We'll have the latest on all Ohio candidates and the key races throughout the nation.